Hello everyone, I'm Arunima from Knit and Otter, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a Tunisian mosaic crochet border. So I have, this is a support video for the Zuri blanket cal, which is my blanket cal for the year 2023. And in that we have a bunch of squares that are joined together, and I'm going to pretend that this here is that joined blanket, and I'm going to work around it and show you how this mosaic border is created. The border that I'm going to show you in this video is only slightly different than the one which I've made for my blanket that has a few additional rows, and once you know how to make this, you should be able to make that as well. It's just it's pretty simple, and I'm going to go through the entire thing and show you how to make this exact border. So here I have the exact same center square, and I'm going to work around this and make this border and show you how it goes. So here is the chart for this pattern that I'm going to show you in this video. And I'm going to start with telling you how to read this chart. There will be written instructions for the pattern for the mosaic border that I've used in the blanket in the pattern itself, and it'll be free on my blog as well. This is just for this video, and I'm going to follow a chart in this video. So I'm going to begin by the symbols and the numbers that are on the chart. So to begin, I would like to tell you that the stitch numbers and the stitch counts are not mentioned in this chart. It was just very hard to put that on the chart for the border because it's worked in a round. Here are these black and white cells here, which are the round number, and that's the round that you're on while creating your border. So you start with the first round and then you go around, and this, you can see that there is number 1 all around. So that's like that entire round is one round, and then there's round 2 and round 3. So you're going in a round, and you can see that they're also of a different color. So round 1 is made with one color, and round 2 is made with the same, 3 is made with the same, and then 4 is made with a different color. So you can see here that I have 3 rounds of one color, and then the 4th one is different. So that's what that indicates. These are just all of these 4 corners here. They indicate the round number and the color that each individual round is made with. Now, round 1 is the foundation round. This is the one that we will make we will sort of create the foundation row for the mosaic border itself. So we are going to start with picking up stitches all around this square, and once we do that, then we'll start making our actual stitches from round 2. Now the red squares here, there are 2 red squares, this one and this one. They indicate where you need to start from. So this one here is for right-handed crocheters, and this one here is for left-handed crocheters. So right-handed crocheters will start here and go around, and left-handed crocheters will start here and go this way. And for left-handed crocheters, the symbols C1 and C2 will be flipped. I'm going to talk about what these symbols are, but just know that for left-handed crocheters, C1, C2 will be here, C1, C1 will be here, and C2, C2 will be here. So you have to just make sure that you account for that. There are these other symbols here, which are actually the stitches. So here, E here and this here, these are the edge stitches. These are the stitches which are right at the edge, this here and this here. So these are the edge stitches and are a part of the square or the set of squares that are in your blanket that you're creating a border around. Then there is the squares which are empty. the empty squares here, all of these empty squares are Tunisian simple stitches. And all of these squares here with X's, they are front post extended simple stitches. And then C1 and C2, they're a combination of two stitches on both sides. These are the corners and with the increase. So C2 is the twisted Tunisian simple stitch and Tunisian twisted knit stitch in the same stitch. So you're making a corner and you're doing an increase, and I'm going to do it and show you how that works. And the C1 over here, that is a Tunisian knit stitch and a Tunisian simple stitch in the same stitch. And these red lines, they indicate the that the section that's in between the cells that are in the squares that are in between these two red lines are the repeats. So in this case here, the 6 simple stitches, so that means that it's a full repeat of only simple stitches. 3 simple and 3 front post extended simple stitches, so that means that's what's been repeated. So you can see over here it's 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple, 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple, 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple. So this is the repeat pattern. For the next round it will be this. So this, the front post extended simple, simple, front post extended simple, and 3 simple. That's the repeat pattern. So anything that's in between these two red lines indicates the repeat pattern. And that also indicates the number of stitches that you will have to add or remove to keep the pattern going. So if you wanted to increase the size of this, you'd have to add 6 stitches here and 6 rows here. So this is the same. This is 6 here, 6 here, and 6 here. So this is a 6 stitch pattern repeat. So if you wanted to add or increase the size, adding repeats of 6 stitches and 6 rows will work out. That's that I think is all of the symbols and colors and everything in this chart. Just make sure that you do not change color on any round. You will make a single round with a single color. You will need 2 strands of yarn per round. That is one of the same color, that is, and it will be 1 strand for the forward pass and 1 strand for the reverse pass. So if you know how to work in a round, you'd know that you use 2 different strands to work Tunisian crochet in the round. And if you don't, then we're going to go over it in this video, so that's okay. So, but you will need 2 strands of yarn of each color for every row. So I'm going to now show you how to make this border around this square. So let's start with the hooks that you will need to make this border. You will need a double-ended hook, which I normally build using 2 hooks from my interchangeable hook set. So for the forward pass, I'm going to use a 6mm hook, and for my reverse pass, I'm going to use a 5.5mm hook. And I've joined them using a cord. So this is how I'm going to be working. The first round here is you're just picking stitches on your existing fabric. So we start here. We start with picking up stitches from here and we go around. So I'm going to pick up this loop. I'm going to pick it up like I were making a Tunisian simple stitch, and I'm going to take I'm going to make the border in this color. So I'm going to take this yarn and I'm going to pull up a loop, and then I'm going to pull up, I'm going to make a simple stitch, sort of make a simple stitch in every stitch here. So here I'm going to insert my hook like I'm going to make a Tunisian simple stitch, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, and I'm going to do it all the way till the end. And the instructions for how many stitches you need to pick up, that's all in the notes, or you can look at the chart and figure it out. So I've picked up 17 loops on my hook right now, and I have a total of 19 stitches, but I've picked up 17, and I'm going to tell you why. So you can only pick up one stitch in the corner here because of the way I'm picking up stitches. So instead of picking up two stitches, one for the top edge and one for the side edge, I just pick up one at the corner, and that just makes it easy to pick up stitches. So I picked up 17 stitches here, and I have 19 rows, I have 19 stitches, of which I've picked up 17, and I have 17 rows here. So that will be 17 stitches here, and then 17 here, and 17 here, and 17 here. So that'll make it equal number of stitches on all sides. So that's 17, and then I'm going to pick up 17 more. So I'm going to go in the corner like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. This is the last one. And then I'm going to go in and pick up 17 here at the bottom. So before I do that, now I have a lot of loops on my hook, and I'm going to cast them off before I go any further. So I'm going to move all of these loops to the other side, to the other hook, which is the 5.5 millimeters hook. I'm going to turn my work around, and then I'm going to use another strand of yarn. So for the reverse pass, I've made a small bobbin, and I'm going to use that. So I take that yarn and pull through one loop, and then I yarn over and I pull through two loops and cast off a bunch of stitches. So I cast off until I reach two stitches on the hook. That's usually what I do, but you could stop at 3 or 4 stitches or whatever is comfortable. I just recommend that you do not cast off all the stitches, because that helps. Having a few stitches on the hook helps with keeping your tension even for the stitches that you will make beyond what you already have. So I've cast off everything except for these 2 stitches. That is, I have 3 loops on the hook, and that is where I stop. And then I move these loops back to the other side, to the other hook, and turn my work around. So I have the front of the fabric facing me now. And now I'm going to go ahead and pick up 17 stitches on this edge. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then we're going to pick up 17 on this edge. So that's the corner. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and the last one here, 17. And we've reached the point where we started. So I'm going to now move all of these loops to the other side. And then I'm going to turn my work around. So that brings the back of the project in front of me. and I'm going to cast off these stitches. So I'm just holding onto this hook because that makes a lot of noise when I'm filming this video. So here, just yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and that's how you cast off. And now I have 2 stitches, or a total of 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to move these to the other side and turn my project. And this is how it's looking after round 1. So here you can see that we started from here. We picked up this stitch which was right next to the edge stitch, and that's where we started picking up loops from, and we went all around and we stopped here, which was at the edge stitch. So this is the completion of round 1. So now round 2. Round 2 is made with the same color, so I'm not going to cut yarn. I'm just going to continue working this part in a spiral. In traditional mosaic crochet, this would likely be made with this other color, the second color, but I didn't want to do that because I just thought, for me, this was a cleaner look, and I just didn't want to. It felt like I was wasting a little bit of yarn because I'd make this round in this color and then I'd hide the entire round with the next color again. So I just decided to continue working in the round until round 3. So here I am right now at this point, and I'm going to continue working with round 2. So from here, I'm going to jump to round 2, and this is going to be my first stitch. So I'm going to make my 2 C2s, and then I'm going to make simple stitches across, and then I'm going to make my 2 C1s. So here I am. To start by making a twisted simple stitch, which is you insert your hook into this vertical bar in the opposite direction. So you insert your hook here. I like to pick it up with my hook like this, or you could just pull this up a little. It makes it easier to catch, and then you insert your hook in the opposite direction, yarn over, and make sure you're twisting up and not going down. It's hard for me to show you in this video, but twist up, yarn over, and pull through. That's a twisted simple stitch. And you're going to make a twisted knit stitch in this, which is here. So the stitch is already twisted, so all you need to do is go into this space right here between the front and back vertical bars and here, and you see that this is the reverse pass yarn, and you have to go under that and yarn over and pull through. So that is C2. So that's C2, C2. And then I'm going to make simple stitches across. So here, that's simple stitches all the way till here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 simple stitches. And then I'm going to make 2 C1s. So 15 simple stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 14, and 15. 15 simple stitches. And then I'm going to make the corner. Again, that's the 2 C1s. So that is a knit stitch and a simple stitch, both in the same stitch. So that completes one edge. That completes one edge, and I'm going to work on the reverse pass. I'm going to make the reverse pass for every edge so I know exactly where I am in the pattern. I prefer to do that normally as well. Whenever I'm working in the round, I try to do 1 or maximum 2 edges at once so I don't lose track of where I am. So here I've completed this one edge here. That's for the second round. And I'm going to cast off. So all I'm going to do is move my loops to the other hook. I'm going to turn my project around, and I'm going to yarn over, and pull through 2. And I'm going to do that until I have 3 loops remaining on the hook. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to move my loops back. And now I'm right here. I'm going to continue on this side, round 2. I'm going to make 2 C2s, the C2 stitches, that is the combination stitch, and then I'm going to make 15 simple stitches and then C1. So I have to do the exact same thing that I did here 3 more times for the 3 edges. So I'm going to make my twisted simple stitch and twisted knit stitch in the same stitch, and then 15 simple stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, 15, and then the combination C1 stitch, which is a knit stitch and a simple stitch in the same stitch. So that's edge number 2, and I'm going to move the loops to the other hook, turn my project around, and I'm going to cast off. Yarn over, pull through 2 until I have 3 loops on the hook. So you don't need to stop at 3 loops. You could stop at 4 or 5, but I recommend whatever you choose, you keep that consistent, because it helps a lot in keeping track of where you are in the project. I sometimes lost where I was, but based on the number of loops I had on my hook and my system, I was able to figure out without having to undo a bunch of stuff. So that's just a tip. So I'm going to do this 2 more times, and I'm going to complete this round, and then I'll show you what it looks like. This is how it's looking at the end of round 2. So I have completed the 4 edges of round 2. Here, go from here all the way, and then this edge and this edge, and then back. And I'm here at this point with my reverse pass, the 3 loops that I stop at for my reverse pass. Now I'm going to go and make round 3, which is again the same as round 2, except that we're making 2 extra simple stitches on each edge. So it's the combination C2 stitch, and then there's 17 simple stitches, and then the combination C1 stitch, and then this entire thing is repeated 4 times. So I'm here, I'm going to pick up my working yarn, and I'm going to make a twisted simple stitch, and then a twisted knit stitch in the same spot, and then I'm going to make 17 simple stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 16, 17, and then a knit stitch and a simple stitch in the same stitch. And I'm going to now cast off because I have completed 1 edge. So move all these loops to the other hook, turn my project around, and then cast off. So that's yarn over, pull through 2 until I have 3 loops on the hook. And that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn around, move these loops to the other hook, and I'm going to do this for the next 3 edges. This is exactly the same as what we've done so far. So I'm going to complete that, and I'm going to show you how it looks at the end of round 3. This is how it's looking at the end of round 3. So basically 3 rounds of the same color, and I stopped here just like I did earlier. So here we are again. That's round 1, round 2, round 3 done. Now we see that round 4 is made with a different color. So I'm going to complete this round. So instead of stopping here, I'm going to complete this round. I'm going to cut the yarn and I'm going to attach a new color, and I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to go back to the reverse pass hook and I'm going to cast off all of these stitches and I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to cut the other one as well. And we will weave in those ends a little bit later. So this is how it looks at the end of round 3, and we have cut the yarn now and I'm going to attach the other color. So when I'm attaching the other color, I try to not begin at the same place because the transition is easy to spot. I'm going to attach at the second corner, and just to make it simple to understand where my beginning corner is, I'm just going to put a stitch marker here. So this is where my first corner is, and I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to now attach my other color, and how I'm going to do it is here. I like to work one edge at a time. So I'm going to attach this here and I'm going to make this edge first. So I'm going to attach so that I make these two C2s first. So here I'm going to, so this is the corner. You can see that the corner stitches, and this is that C1 combination and this is the C2 combination. And so this is the twisted stitch and then the full the knit stitch. So in that first stitch here, this is where I'm going to attach, and I'm going to do it. So I have to make two C2, the combination C2 stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook like this, make a twisted simple stitch, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through. You can actually attach wherever you want. I like to attach at the corners because it's the easiest um, to hide. Like it's not very visible if you do it at the corners. And so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make my twisted knit stitch. And then it's 19 simple stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 18, 19. And here I am, I've reached my other corner. I'm going to make my knit stitch and simple stitch in the same. So you can see here in this round, in this edge, or in this, the one that we're making right here, there are no X's. So it's all simple stitches, even though the color is different. And that happens when you make the next round. So don't worry about changing color in a given round. Make sure you're making each round with just one color. So there's this entire round is made with this just one color. So here I am at the end of this edge, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to move these loops to the other hook. And I'm going to use a second strand of yarn for my reverse pass. So I'm going to use this, and in the same color. So use this. We start with a yarn over pull through one loop and then yarn over pull through two. So here I'm going to stop here. I'm going to move the loops back, and this is how it is. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to continue working the next three edges, and I'm going to show you how it looks. This is after I complete 3 edges. That's 1, 2, 3. I wanted to show you how it looks here at the beginning corner, because we haven't woven in ends, and that was by choice, because I have done it in the past where I weave in ends at the end of the round before I start a new round, and that just got difficult. Sometimes I'd pull them too tight, or the woven in yarn would interfere. So I just, it always worked out better if I did not weave in ends for the round. As soon as I completed it, I actually weave in after I've completed the next round. So here you can see that this is a little loose, and that's fine. That's because these ends are not woven in. So here I am at this corner, and it's looking like this. And for the next one, I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to pick up this here, make a twisted simple stitch and a twisted knit stitch. And that's how it is. So you can see that this corner aligned with this one, and that's just how it's supposed to work out. And I'm going to make my 19 stitches, and then I'm going to complete this corner and show you how that looks. 1, 2, 3, 18, 19, and then I'm going to make a knit stitch and a simple stitch in the same stitch, and that completes this round with the forward pass. And I'm going to make the return pass now, and while casting off stitches, I'm going to cast off all of them and not stop at 2, because the next round is, again, we switch colors. So I'm going to go ahead and move these all to the next, to the other hook, and I'm going to cast them off. And that's all. And I'm going to cut the yarn, and I'm going to show you how it looks. So here it is. I've cut the yarn, all ends, both the forward and reverse pass, and this is how it's looking at the beginning corner. You can see that that corner is working up nicely, and this is how it's looking at this corner, and this will even out when I make the next round. I'm not going to weave in these ends, but I'm going to weave in the ones from the previous round. This is when I usually do it. So I don't weave them in at the completion of the round. I weave them in at the completion of the next round. So I'm going to weave these in, and I'm going to come back and show you how to make round number 5. This is how it's looking after weaving in the ends from round 3, and I've not woven these ends in, and that's by choice. I'm going to do it after the next round. And so this is round 4 complete, and you can see how this looks in the back. This is how it's looking. It curls a little bit because of the nature of these stitches, and it's going to even out a little bit, but I had to steam block my this one to make sure it laid flat, but blocking helped, and it sits pretty flat now. So I am going to, so here, this is, I've made 4 rounds, so you can see how they look. This is round 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to go on and make the 5th round. So here, round 5 starts with C2 stitches, and in this color, which is the sea green color for me. And then there's 3 simple stitches, 3 front post extended simple stitches, 3 simple, 3 front post extended, and these indicate the repeat. So it's just a repeat of 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple stitches, and then we end with 3 simple stitches until we come to this corner, and we make the combination C1 stitch, and we repeat this 4 times across all edges. And again, now since we're starting a new round, I'm going to start with another corner. So I'm going to pick the third corner now so that I am not joining yarn at the same place every time, which could make it, which would be very easy to spot, visible in the front. We don't want that. We want it to be seamless. So I'm going to start at the third corner now. And it helps that all of these, because this is a symmetrical design, it doesn't matter where I start. I'm going to follow the exact same pattern all around. If you had different patterns and different edges, then you'd have to take that into account to just make sure that you're making the right pattern and the right edge. But otherwise, you could just start at any other corner and continue working with your pattern. So I'm going to join my yarn here. So I'm going back to this yarn and I'm going to join at the third corner. So this was my first, and that's why it's good to have this marker so you know where your first corner was. So first corner, second corner, I'm going to attach at the third corner the exact same way as I did in the previous round. So I'm going to find that corner twisted stitch that I made. So it's this one. And I'm going to insert my hook like this, make a twisted simple stitch, and then a twisted knit stitch in the same spot. And that's what makes that corner. And I'm going to now do 3 simple stitches, 3 front post extended simple stitches. I'm going to keep doing that until I end here with 3 simple stitches. So 3 simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 front post extended simple stitches. So 3 simple stitches and 3 front post extended simple stitches. So 1, that's picking up the 2 vertical bars, chain 1, that's 1, 2, and 3, and then 3, 1, 2, 3 simple stitches, and then 3 front post extended simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, and then 3 simple, 1, 2, 3, and then the corner, which is a knit stitch and a simple stitch in the same stitch. So that's how it is. That's how it's looking. I'm going to go ahead and cast off. So I'm going to now, because I completed one edge, I usually do it after every edge. And I'm going to take a second strand of yarn of the same color. I'm going to pull through one loop first, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 until I have 3 loops on the hook here. And I'm going to turn this around, move my loops back to the other hook. And that's how it's looking. You can see here, it's this part that I'm working on right now. So back to the pattern here. So I'm going to do, so I just did this, actually I did this edge here, that's the third one. I'm going to do the fourth one now, which is the same. Start with 3 simple stitches, 3 front post extended simple stitches, and that's just a repeat all the way until we reach here and make 2 corner stitches. So I'm going to do that all the way until I reach this corner. So I'll show you how to work this part, and then and I'll see you at that point in this video. So here I am. I stopped right before that corner stitch. I forgot to do that in the previous round, so I thought I'd show you here. So I've made all of my front post extended simple stitches and simple stitches, and here I am at the corner, and here this is not weaved in, so it's a little loose, and that's intentional. So now I'm going to make a corner stitch, which is a knit. This is my C1, so knit stitch and simple stitch in the same stitch. And just make sure that I'm keeping this nice and snug. I'm not pulling it too tight. I'll sort of fine tune it when I am weaving in my end. So right now I don't care too much about if it's too loose. And then this is the corner that starts at the other edge. So there'll be the C2 combination here. So I'm going to pick this up and make a twisted simple stitch, and then I'm going to go in and make a twisted knit stitch. So that's how I make this corner, and you can see that this works so beautifully. It just lines up nicely, and I'm going to now tighten these in the back, and when I'm weaving in my ends, I'm going to make sure that I don't pull them too tight. So I'm going to continue working this all the way till here and complete this round and show you how it looks. Now this is how it's looking at the end of round 5, and I weaved in the ends from round 4 as well, and this is how that corner is looking. Just have to make sure that you don't pull this too tight and that this is visible properly. And I am going to move on to round 6. Now for round 6, I have to attach the other color again. So I'm going to go for this corner, which is the 4th corner. And this is where I'm going to attach my yarn. So same thing like earlier, I'm going to find this corner stitch. I'm going to make a twisted simple stitch and a twisted knit stitch. And that's how I'm going to begin my round. And this is round 6. So I made my corner, and I'm going to now make one simple, one front post extended simple, one simple front post extended simple, and 3 simple. So that's 1 1 1 3. That's the repeat, and then we're going to stop at here one simple stitch and then make that corner again. And again, this is the same thing on all 4 edges, so that's why I'm reading it from here, but actually I'm going to make this edge right now. So it's the same thing here. Start with the corner stitches, and then one simple front post extended simple, simple front post extended simple, 3 simple, and then repeat this pattern all the way. Repeat these 6 stitches until I stop here at like this, when there's one simple stitch, and then make this corner again. So I'm going to do that and show you. So it is one simple, one front post extended simple, one simple, one front post extended simple, and then 3 simple stitches, 1 2 and 3, and then 1 front post extended simple, 1 simple, 1 front post extended simple, and 3 simple. and I'm going to continue the same repeat. And then we end with one simple stitch, and then the corner, which is knit and simple stitch in the same stitch. So that's how this is looking. We can see the pattern develop now, the mosaic pattern. And I'm going to go on and cast off by moving these to the other hook, turning it around, and then attaching another strand of yarn, pulling through one loop first, and then pulling through two after. I'm going to stop here, bring my loops back, and then continue working on the next edge. So you can see how this pattern developed on this edge. It's going to happen on all four edges, and you can see how the corners are. They're fairly neat. That was the aim for me, to make sure that the transitions weren't visible. And you can see that this corner and even this first corner looks pretty neat, and so does this one. And I haven't woven in these ends, so I'm going to make the rest of the three edges. I think I've covered everything I wanted to explain with how to do this, and I'm just going to show you how this looks at the end of this round, and then we'll move on to the next one. This is how it's looking at the end of round 6. So all the white rounds are done at this point, because there's just, in this pattern, there's just 2. So the white rounds are done. Now we are only going to work with this color. So here I just wanted to show you the corners. I think it looks pretty neat here. This one, there's this one, and there's this one. And I'm now going to attach the yarn for round 7, and I'm going to go back to that first corner because I've already worked on the other corners. So here I'm going to find this corner stitch and make a twisted Tunisian simple stitch and a knit stitch in the same stitch. So that's how I'm going to start. And here is the pattern. So here on the 7th round, start that corner, and then there's one simple stitch, one front post extended simple stitch, and then 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple stitches. And this is the repeat pattern. These 6 stitches are repeated over and over again. So this is 3 simple stitches, 3 front post extended simple stitches, and we end with a front post extended simple stitch, and then a simple stitch, and then the corner stitches. So I'm back at this corner, so I'm going to follow this pattern, and I'm going to show you how it looks. So I have made my corner, and now it is a simple stitch, and then a front post extended simple stitch, and then 3 simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, 3 front post extended simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, then 3 simple, 1, 2, 3, and 3 front post extended simple, 1, 2, 3, 3 simple, 3 front post extended simple, 1, 2, 3, 3 simple, and then ending with a front post extended simple stitch, and then a simple stitch, and then this corner where it's a knit and simple. So I'm going to now cast off these stitches, and then I'm going to make the other 3 edges and show you how that looks. This is how it's looking at the end of round 7. So you can see the mosaic pattern completely now. The only 2 rounds remaining are the ones with just this, the just simple stitches in the same color. So this is how it is. I haven't woven in ends yet for the previous round, and that's because I wanted to show you, I wanted to give you a tip about how to do it. So I'm going to do that a little bit later. This is how it's looking in the back. This is one edge, and I'm here right now at this corner, and so there are 2 ways that you can progress right now from here. Because we're using the same color, I am going to go ahead. So I've not done this before. In the previous swatch that I made, I actually cut yarn on every round and reattached. So I would cut yarn over here and then reattach on the next corner and then go on and complete the next 2 rounds. But in this video, I'm just going to go ahead and make it in a spiral. I'm not going to cut yarn because I'm going to continue working with the same color, and we'll see how it goes so we can compare it with the other swatch. So we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to tell you that there are 2 options that you have starting now. You could cut yarn here and reattach at the next corner and start the next round from there, or you could just continue working over here. So I am going to continue working, and I'm going to show you how it looks after 2 more rounds. So the next 2 rounds are pretty much the same. We make the corner stitches and then the corner combination stitches, and we make simple stitches across. So I'm going to complete these 2 rounds, and I'm going to show you how it's looking, and I still have those ends to weave in, so I'm going to show you how to do that after I've completed these 2 rounds. And one more thing, the bind off round is not shown in this chart, so that is something I'm going to show you after I've completed whatever's in this chart. So here, continuing from where I am, twisted simple stitch in the same color now because we're starting the next round, and a knit stitch, a twisted knit stitch. So that starts the corner for, that's the corner for the next edge, and then I'm just going to make knits simple stitches across. So here I am. I'm going to now continue working this in a spiral, so I'm not going to cut the yarn. I'm going to, and this is the corner stitch here from the previous round, so I'm going to make a twisted simple stitch and a twisted knit stitch in the same spot, and that makes the corner combination for the next edge, and it's just simple stitches across. And I'm going to make both rounds in a spiral just like I showed you here in the beginning, so there's nothing different. Just continue making this. Make sure, because, and this corner edge here is helpful because we know that we're starting our round from here. So this is round 7. I'm going to continue, I'm going to complete this, and then I'm going to make another round, and I'm going to stop here and then show you how it looks. This is how it's looking at the end of round 9. I have completed all rounds. I worked in a spiral here, and you can see this second corner, the second row, that didn't come out that great looking, but I think I'm okay with that. I think the rest of the rounds would be okay if there were more. Uh, but aside from that, I think this corner looks okay. So if this is an issue for you, you definitely cut yarn after every round and reattach at another corner and start again. But I did it in a spiral, wanted to show you how it would look. And I'm going to complete this. I'm going to show you how it will look in the end, but this is how it is looking after end of round 9. I also did not weave in these ends because I wanted to give you a tip. So let's just do that now. So if you see here, there's 2 strands of yarn at the bottom. That's actually the forward pass yarn, and this is 2 ends here, which are the reverse pass yarn. So I recommend for the reverse pass yarn, just take the 2 ends and knot them together really tight. So you see in the front, that sort of joins these two together, and that's what we want. And another knot, so that when we're weaving in these ends, then we're not worrying about what it's looking like in the front. So now that this is done, we can weave these in really easily. For this is slightly more tricky because pulling on this will change the height of this stitch. So if you pull too hard, that makes it smaller. So just have to keep it at the right height and then knot them as well in the back. So when I'm knotting it here, I am going to look at it in the front, and I think it looks okay. So I'm just going to keep that tension, and I'm going to make another knot on top. And that locks it in place. So that locks that height in place. And you can see that that edge that looks seamless. And I'm just going to weave these in now. So these knots, it took me a while to figure this out, because if I was weaving in these ends without doing this, the tension over here, these stitches here were not looking how I wanted them to, even though they looked all right when I made them. So I knew that I was doing something with the tension when I was weaving in these ends. So I figured that if I knot them like this, I can actually see what it's looking like, and I can settle on something that I am comfortable with, and then I can go in and weave in these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to weave these ends in, and here I am at, where am I here? Here I am at the end of round 9. I have cut the yarn for the reverse pass, but I have not cut it for the forward pass because I'm going to continue working the bind off round with this. So I'm going to weave in the white ends and come back and show you how to make that bind off row. Okay, those white ends are weaved in now, and here is how it's looking. That's a beautiful corner. Doesn't look like we've attached and cut and attached yarn here, so that was a success. Now for the bind off round, I'm now going to remove the reverse pass hook because we don't need it anymore. The bind off round does not have that. I'm going to continue working with the forward pass yarn here. We're going to continue with the pattern exactly how it was, and it's in so I don't have the written instructions for this here, but for the bind off round, I would have the same corner stitches, and then I would have simple stitches and the corner stitches while binding off, and then I do that on all 4 edges. So I'm going to do that right now. Here I am going to make a twisted simple stitch, and I'm going to leave this a little loose because I need to make that last one in the stitch here. So twisted simple twisted knit, again making sure that this is still loose, and then simple stitches across. So it's a slip stitch bind off. If you need help with how to do this, I have a separate tutorial for it. So I'm not going to go into the details, but all you need to do is you make the stitch that you want to, and you slip to complete it. So you make the stitch, that's the simple stitch, and you slip. So you're not adding loops on your hook anymore. So simple stitch, simple, all the way to the next corner. Here I am at this other corner now, the second corner. I'm going to make a knit stitch, a simple stitch, a twisted knit stitch, a twisted simple stitch, and then simple stitches. And I'm going to do that all the way till I reach the first corner where I had started this bind off round. So this is how it's looking after I have completed that bind off round. I'm now going to cut this yarn, and I am going to try and make an invisible join so that the edge is seamless. Here, this was the first stitch here, and this is the first chain here with from the bind off. So I'm just gonna go in like this, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to weave in this end. So that's how it's looking. This is how all the corners are. Here, here, and here. The first one is the only one which is slightly untidy, and I think if I had cut and join on every row, every round, this would also be pretty neat. But so this is something that you'd have to take a call on depending on how you'd like your corners to be. And this could do with a little bit of blocking. You can see how this one is laying a lot more flat than that. This is after blocking, and so you see this is exactly what we've made. This is how the edges are. So one thing that I wanted to show you was that when I was trying to figure out the best way to do this, I did not start my rounds at the corners. I start in them in the middle of the row, so you can see that they're not like, I can actually make out where I've cut and join yarn. Sometimes it's not as noticeable, but here I can see that there is a slight tension problem while I was weaving in my ends. So overall, if you look at this piece, it looks pretty okay. But I found that if you wanted a seamless edge, joining at the corners, joining new yarn at the corners is always the best idea. So here we are. This is how it's looking after weaving in all ends. This is the entire mosaic border, and this is how it's looking in the back. It's fairly neat. It's actually just like working in straight lines. It's the only thing was the only challenge or tricky bit was to figure out how to make it work so the transitions are not easy, the transitions are not as visible. So doing those transitions in the corners helped immensely. And the only one thing that I don't really and I don't really like about this is that we have 4 ends to weave in on every round. But I think for borders that works out. We just have a few rounds, and it's all right. So I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. But if you are following the Zuri Blanket Cal, this tutorial will help you make the border for that blanket. The border in that blanket is slightly there's a larger mosaic pattern in there, so it's more rounds. But aside from that, the technique is exactly the same. And I have a bunch of other videos where I teach how to do Tunisian mosaic crochet, and actually also just Tunisian crochet. So if you're new to this technique, then feel free to check out my channel, and I have a bunch of free patterns on my blog as well. I'm going to leave a link to everything in the description below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I will see you in my other videos. Bye bye.